All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our second session on how to manage exam stress. And this session is specifically for students of classes 9 and 10. And it will deal with this topic at a more serious sort of level. Because I think the challenges of secondary school students are probably a little different than primary or other classes. So, without wasting any time, I would request Siddharth to go ahead and introduce himself to our participants and tell them what he does best.
Hi everyone, I'm Siddharth, but you can call me Sidhu, and I'm a clinical psychologist. And I generally work with kids all the way from class 3 to 8, all the way up till sometimes 10. And what my thing is, what I do best is I try to bring in resilience, well being, and I try to help them deal with their anxiety better. That's where I excel. So I'm actually very excited that just it's a small group because I can kind of take this session that we were having, which was initially built for a larger group, and we can have a far more in-depth discussion about the specific strategies, specific questions that you might have that you may not get the option to ask in a bigger group. So should we start?
Yes, I think we're ready. Radhika, Ragini, Shreya, are you guys ready to start?
And my sincere request, please do switch on your video. Um,
Yes, please switch on your video so that we can see you guys and it can feel more like a discussion as opposed to just a monologue.
Thank you so
Yes,
much,
thank
guys.
you guys. Thank you.
Okay, let's start. Right. So, how many people of us have seen this movie? Feel free to just unmute yourself and talk now. You don't have a big group to worry about. You're still muted, Radhika.
Radhika, you're on mute. Wait.
I
Yeah.
was just I was just reading the name of the movie.
Okay, so the name of the movie is How to Train a Dragon. Has anyone seen it here?
No, I
No?
don't think so.
Okay, so
Mm.
very interesting thing about this movie. It's a very adorable movie about a young boy who meets this ferocious dragon and they become like best buddies. Um, and that's kind of what I want to introduce today. Because what often happens is that our stress, our anxiety, all of these, they sound like big bad demons, right? Who've come to haunt us. But they're actually not that bad. They're actually very dealable when we know the right way to deal with it. Can we move to the next slide, please? So this is going to be the general flow. We're going to go through a quick icebreaker activity. We're going to learn a little about exam stress, and then we're going to go to our strategies of how do we tame our exam dragon. We'll end the session with a few question and answers, and I would hope that whatever you guys are wanting to ask, right, feel free to ask without any restraint, because these topics that we talk about, they have a lot of stigma and bias associated with it, and sometimes even when we are in a session we may feel that we may not be asking the right question or something like that. So there is no wrong questions, right? We're all learning together. So yeah, let's go to next slide, please. Okay, so I have this little picture out for you, and I have this little toy. Can you guys see this toy?
Yeah.
What does it look like to you guys?
Ashvi, what do you think it is?
I don't know, mom.
It's a
That's
frog
okay.
chilling on the beach.
She has very happy, content smile. So this is actually what I want to achieve today with all of us. So before I ask anything, This frog who's like full to full chilling and just enjoying his couch, what do you think his vibe is? How is he feeling today?
Radhika, what do you think?
Relaxed.
Yeah, he is feeling relaxed. I mean, I don't think someone lying on a couch like that is very stressed out in life. Uh, Anyone else wants to try?
Ragini, Shreya,
Okay. Can we please have that resting frog? Thank you. Right. So, I have a question for you guys now. We've all agreed that this frog looks very chill and very chilled out, right? Um, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you're just seeing this frog? Not how the frog is feeling. What is the first thing you think of? Maybe it may be a place, right, that represents this mood, this vibe. Maybe it's a kind of food. Is there anything that's coming to your mind first? Like, for example, when I look at him, I think of just having a big, very soft chadar and just falling asleep on that for a few hours. What about you guys?
when I see this frog, I think of eating like a lot of pizza and my stomach's all, bloated because of that. And I'm lying down on my bed trying to sleep.
Isn't that the dream? I mean, not to be lying, but yeah, it's kind of a dream. What about you guys? What do you guys think when you just look at this frog?
What's your happy place, you guys? Tell us. Radhika, Hashvi, tell us, share what you think is something that makes you feel like this relaxed frog. Anything, doesn't have to be anything too glamorous. It can be simple things. Radhika? Oh God, we have shy kids around here.
That's
Anyway,
okay. So
yeah.
it's okay, guys. I understand that you guys have come for the first time, right, to a session like this. There's so many new people, right? I'm sure you guys are feeling a little hesitant. Yeah, should I say it? Should I not say it? Maybe it's a wrong answer. What will other people think, right? And I get that. I completely understand that. Uh, but just like the exams that we're going to battle today, and the strategies that we're going to learn, it's all about confrontation. And what's happening right now is a very interesting situation has been created for you. You have the chance to confront something you may have been afraid of. Maybe public speaking, maybe making a mistake. And this, when you do confront whatever you're afraid about, I can guarantee you that the sense of growth that you will be taking from the session forward into your preparation for your exams will be far more than any session.
That's right. Yes, guys, even if you guys are hesitant to speak right now, I'm sure by the end of the session, you all will have a lot to say. So just keep, yourself focused on what's coming next, and I'm sure it's going to be very helpful.
Yeah,
So let's start with the exam stress
sure.
discussion.
Let's go to the next slide, please. Okay. So, what is this exam stress? How many people just here raise your hand here? How many people have faced this? I definitely have. Okay, everyone here. Okay, yeah, that's good to know. Because firstly, you need to know this is like a super normal thing. We all face it. Everyone's faced it. I've faced it. Romcha's faced it. You guys have faced it. Your parents have faced it. Everyone faces it, right? It's all about how we deal with it. And that's what we're going to learn in today's session, the different ways of dealing with stress. Can we move to the next slide?
Exams are stressful, but stress doesn't have to take over your life. If we understand the science of how it works, we can make it work for us. When faced with a potentially stressful situation, angry parents, driving tests, or yes, exams, the danger sensor in our brains, the amygdala, is activated. This alerts the nearby hypothalamus, sending a long-range message via the pituitary gland to the adrenal glands, which secrete the hormones adrenaline and cortisol into our body. Adrenaline increases our blood flow, speeding up our reflexes and sharpening our senses, and cortisol releases glucose, giving our body vital extra energy. This response, known as fight or flight, is our body's way of preparing us to tackle big challenges. But when stress levels get too intense, they can trigger negative symptoms like difficulty focusing, tension headaches, nausea, and disturbed sleep.
Can we move to next slide, please?
Exams are
So I feel like this is probably the best representation of how I have always seen exams. I know about you guys, but I have never like been a 90% student, always been like, average 85 kind of a thing. And even when I get like an 87, I'm like, yes, that's a party day, definitely. So this is definitely a representation of how my week used to be when I used to have exams. Everything just felt it was going wrong, and I'm just sitting in the middle and like, yeah, I might deal with this. Has anyone besides me also felt this? Yeah, please raise your hand if you have.
Just raise your hands. Don't have to speak if you don't want to. Maybe we have very resilient people here.
Wow, I'm very impressed. What about you, Romsha? Have you faced this? Because I've definitely been here.
Yes. I mean, not always, but especially if I wasn't well prepared
Mm.
for some exam and I didn't think I put in the best sort of preparation, those exams I would just hate giving. So, yeah.
No, I totally get that. Like very honestly, I used to hate physics, math, and chem. That was my like arch enemies, right?
Same. We're all arts kids here.
Yeah. So I remember that before every physics exam, I would go into the exam hall. I would read the questions, and half of my mind would just be like, I don't know any of what's happening here. Like,
Same.
just each minute at the exam would feel like an hour, especially the ones that you were really bad at.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you guys also faced that by any chance? Like when you're sitting for an exam, you haven't done your preparation. You're like, oh my god, 1 minute feels like 1 hour has passed.
Radhika seems to, I think, relate with this. Yes?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm sure this is something we all experience in some degrees. Some people hate language papers, some hate science papers, some can't take history at all. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Oh, you've muted yourself.
we all have our, I think, pressure points.
No,
So
you're absolutely right about that. So I have a little activity for you guys if you're ready, right? This is not something you need to answer back. So I would recommend you think about what I'm saying, right? And you try that out. So I want you guys to just think about, your upcoming week, how it's going to be with exams and all. And Romsha, I want you to think about maybe when you were in school, what did that week feel like, right? Really visualize that. Yeah, that, oh my god, there's an exam in 2 days. That feeling, yeah, that's exactly the reaction that even I have. So how about we try something a little different today? Instead of me giving you guys gyan, right? Why don't we try a activity to identify, even like when we feel stress, we have physical symptoms, right? Our hands feel sweaty and all, right? What if I told you that there was a way to identify that you were going to feel stressed before even feeling stressed? Would you guys be interested in doing that?
yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
So this is a very cool thing, and it's like a very like superpower thing once you have it, because Usually, what happens, stress comes and it overwhelms you, and you feel, oh my God, what's happening? How do I deal with this? But what you're going to learn today is how to identify stress in your own body without it becoming an emotion that's scaring you. So, are you all thinking about the day when you had to give your exam? Just think about that day, that one exam that didn't go well. You knew it, पता था कि नहीं अच्छा होने वाला है, but तभी भी कोशिश की. As soon as you've thought about that day, just give me a thumbs up.
Yes,
Okay.
Ashri has done it. Ragini, Shreya, Radhika has done it.
What about you, Romsha? Have you done it too?
Shreya's also. I mean, yes.
Okay. So what I want you guys to do is close your eyes for a minute. Okay. You've all closed your eyes? Great. Think about where you're feeling that stress in your body. कहाँ पे हो रहा है ये? Is it on your face? Is it somewhere in your tummy? Is it somewhere in your chest? Where is it feeling? Where are you feeling that?
I think for me, it's the tummy.
The tummy? Okay.
Yeah.
And how's your tummy feeling? Is it like,
It
butterflies?
feels like there's a pit in my stomach suddenly.
So have you ever gone on a roller coaster?
Yeah.
You know when that drop happens?
Yeah.
Feels kind of like that? Okay. What about you guys? Where do you feel your stress?
Guys, you can write it in the chat box also.
Yeah, that'll also be
You
very
guys
helpful.
don't have to speak if you are not comfortable. But I'm sure everyone feels stress somewhere. You know, some people have like chest tightening sort of sensations as well. And I don't know, sometimes just you go
So,
blank also.
you're absolutely right. In fact, there are a couple of things that can happen. So your heart rate generally can increase, right? You will get very sweaty, right? There'll be a lot of muscle tension that will be happening. You might get headaches. Some कुछ लोग को digestive problem होता है, right? These are all very real things that are happening. And what is basically happening in your body is a situation came and your brain was like, yeah, and just confirming, guys, is it okay if I use a mix of Hindi and English, or does everyone only prefer one language?
No, you can use both language. You can
Oh,
use both.
okay. Thank you so
Also,
much.
Radhika just told us that she gets headaches also sometimes because of all the thinking.
Ooh, I've faced that too. That does hurt like your head. No, I get
Yeah.
that. Uh, so what is happening when you're feeling stressed is very simple, guys. You're having a situation, right? There's some situation outside कि बोलता है तेरे को एग्जाम देना है, and you are feeling, I don't know how to give this exam. What will happen? So what your brain does, because your brain has evolved to help you, your brain will be like, dude, I got you. And it'll think of every possibility where you can like mess up. Just every possibility. Brain is a very logical guy. So he's like, see, I'm giving you every possibility. You see, you pick and choose which one you like. But we are not very logical. We are very emotional. So as soon as we see a probability that we don't like, and our brain's like, oh, if you don't study, you'll fail the exam. Right? The brain is trying to say that maybe you should study. But we take it as, oh my God, we're failing the exam today only. We can't do it. So that's what stress looks like when you really break it down.
Yeah,
So, like us,
it's like how do I say, an emergency sort of signal that's come even before time.
yeah,
False alarm, almost.
it's kind of like your spidey sense when you know how to use it, right?
Yeah.
So, let me complete my promise that I had given, and let me show you how to identify your stress. So, we've answered the first question: where do you feel stress in your body? Right? You said your tummy. Okay. And then we answer the second question of what does your tummy feel like? Right? And you said it feels like it's dropping. So the third and final question that you need to answer is when does this stress happen? What situations does it cause the stress?
I think it could be different reasons for everyone.
Precisely. And you're absolutely
Yeah.
right about it. But this is a trick question. It isn't so much of what the situation is that's causing the stress, it's that first feeling that incites the stress. Think of stress like, a little match fire that you light up. एक तिल्ली से आग जल जाती है पूरी. And that tilly is what we're trying to identify today. So, what is that first feeling that comes to you before you get stressed? So, for me personally, it's that, oh my God, the world is crashing down. I can't do it. As soon as that thought comes in my mind, I'm like, oh, I'm going to get stressed in like in a minute. So, what's the thought that comes in your head?
I think related to exams, it was always like me not doing my best.
Hmm.
I think slacking or procrastinating and just not doing what I should be doing.
Anyone else is kind of a procrastinator here? Be honest. I mean, I have done that a lot of times. Wow, yeah, you
Yeah,
must.
Radhika is saying she's sometimes just not ready for the exam.
No, I get that. I really get
Yeah.
that.
Ragini, what's your reason? What is one thing that starts getting you jittery and anxious? I think everyone's just shy here today. It's
That's
okay.
okay. That's really okay, guys.
Hmm.
Because remember, this session, we're not doing it where it's kind of a compulsion where you have to kind of answer it, right? And remember, everyone who's here, everyone has a different learning style. शायद आप बैठते हो, आप ध्यान लगा के सुनते हो, आपको ज़्यादा मिलेगा. Maybe that's your approach, right? So there's no judgment. It's okay. When you feel like interacting, I'm sure you will, right? Uh, and if you feel like listening while showing your video, which some of you are, that's equally good. That really is. So, can I take this conversation a little forward? Okay.
Yeah.
So, I want to run a little poll, right? And the poll is simply asking one question. आपको स्ट्रेस होता क्यों है? किस वजह से होता है? स्ट्रेस तो एक रिएक्शन हो गया एक चीज के लिए बट वो रिएक्शन क्यों आता है तो कैन वी फाइंड दैट आउट टुडे गाइस चलो लेट्स रन दैट पोल
Hmm. You guys, you'll see some questions on your screen. There's a poll. Just answer whatever is most suitable to your situation. Is everyone able to see it? Okay, so somebody compares themselves to classmates. Some forget what they've studied during exams. Some are not good at taking and scoring in exams. Some find it way too much to study. So much syllabus.
do I get
Something something that it'll impact their future, college decisions, teacher disappointment, parent disappointment. I think.
बट इट्स वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग टू सी कि यहाँ पे भी जैसे हमने एक लास्ट ग्रुप में यही सर्वे किया था this is what came out like my parents will be disappointed if I don't do well and that can be such a big reason for being afraid of the exams.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but very honestly, when I was your age, when I was in school, um, it was one of the biggest things that I would deal with, and I don't know how applicable that is. Before going for an exam, I would always think if this exam goes well, I'll be happy because my parents will be happy. कि आई वोंट गेट, मेरे को घर पे डांट नहीं पड़ेगी. एंड इट इज इन आवर कल्चर बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होता है कि आप अपने पेरेंट्स को डिसअपॉइंट ना करो. हमको ये बचपन से सिखाया गया है. एंड इट इज इम्पॉर्टेंट कि आप नहीं डिसअपॉइंट करो, बट ऑल्सो नॉट सो इम्पॉर्टेंट कि आपका स्ट्रेस का रीजन इज योर पेरेंट. Because what will happen then? You'll go home, you'll feel stressed out, right? Because mama, papa will keep on asking, kya padhai kar li? How much are you done? Right? So this is kind of a vicious cycle. Ki we want to not disappoint our parents, but if you don't do well, you will disappoint your parents, and then the cycle will continue. So the question is, how do you break this cycle? It's a very difficult cycle to break. So the first thing we have to do to break this cycle, right, is understand what exactly or how exactly can we scale our stress. And why am I saying scale our stress? It's because स्ट्रेस नंबर टाइप तो नहीं होता ना कि आपको 10 गुना स्ट्रेस हो रहा है या आपको 2 लीटर स्ट्रेस चढ़ गया है. इट्स नॉट दोज थिंग्स. सो इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर अस टू से ना कि कितना स्ट्रेस हो रहा है. बस हो रहा है, अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है. So today what I want to do with everyone is I want you to rate your stress. And you'll rate them between 10 to 0. 0 being the highest and sorry, 10 being the highest and 0 being the lowest. मतलब सबसे ज़्यादा stress 10 पे and कम stress at 0. And I want you to now think about where are you on this number. आप कहाँ पे हो आज? आपका एग्जाम्स कुछ दिन में शायद आ रहा है, एग्जाम मंथ चल रहे हैं, शायद एग्जाम्स भी नहीं होंगे, आपकी लाइफ में कुछ हो रहा है. आप कहाँ पे हो इस स्केल पे? एंड याद रखिए, कोई सही या गलत आंसर नहीं होता. आप 5 पे हो सकते हो, कुछ लोग 2 पे होंगे, कुछ लोग 8 पे होंगे. इट्स कंप्लीटली ओके.
Tanveer has just joined us. Let's give him a little bit of recap. Tanveer, we are trying to give a number to our stress. So, like, let us know in the comment box what your number of stress is. What do you think? What number would you give to your stress whenever you're feeling any kind of stress, be it exam stress or general life stress? Give us a number that you think best represents your
Shreya feels a
stress.
6. Okay. Harshvi is
6,
on a 7. Okay.
8, 7.
Anyone else would like to add? So I'm right now on a 7.3, very honestly.
Tanveer is 3. I like this, Tanveer. Ragini is 8.
Okay, so let's do the next part. अब ये अगर जैसे हमारा high number है, if we have a high number, we want to reduce that number, right? And if like Tanveer, we have a low number, we want to make sure that low number stays low, right? We don't want that tomorrow that 3 becomes a 7. So what I want you guys to think is, where exactly on this scale would you like to be? अगर आप आज 7 पे हो या 8 पे हो या 6 पे हो, आप 3 दिन बाद 4 दिन बाद कहाँ पे होना चाहोगे?
Give yourself a ideal number. Yes, wow. Everyone
0. Okay,
wants
yeah,
a
that's great.
0. That's great.
Okay, everyone wants to be on a 0. That's great. I love that. I also would like to be on a 0. But
Tanveer is realistic. He wants to go from a 3 to a 2. I love it.
I love that because it's actually very good, Tanveer, that you're being realistic. Because यही अगला सवाल था कि जो आपने एक्सपेक्टेशन डाली है कि मेरे को 8 से 6 में होना है या 2 से मतलब 6 से 0 पे होना है, क्या ये रियलिस्टिक है 2 दिन में? कितना हो सकता है 2 दिन में? And we don't need to lie to ourselves. It's okay. Maybe you'll go down just one number. There's no shame in that. One level lower stress is still a lower level of stress. So how realistic do you think आपका assumption है? Is it very realistic कि 3 दिन में आप zero कर लोगे? Maybe आप कर लोगे. So you need to be the judge of how realistic that target is. What about
Yeah.
you, Romsha? Uh, you are stressed out a little bit,
Mm.
right? Where would you like to be?
See, I think in an ideal world, we would want to be a little or what completely stress free. But I feel that completely stress free is also not an ideal state because I feel stress has its perks and it's helped I think it's helped humanity survive and like um, be alive for so many years. So I would not completely say that I want to get rid of stress completely from my life.
Hmm.
But yes, if I could just like Tanveer, just reach like a 2, I would give myself a pat on the back.
And you should, because you are absolutely right. अब think of it like this. आपका कल एग्जाम है, ठीक है, बहुत मुश्किल एग्जाम है. आपको 2 दिन मिले हैं पूरे पढ़ने को, और आपने बोला यार मेरे को स्ट्रेस ही फील नहीं होता, तो मैं पढ़ूं ही क्यों? I have done this before, so but please in real life don't do this, because it doesn't work out. You still do very badly, and then mama papa are like, why didn't you study? Uh, so a little bit of stress is very important to kickstart. But remember, we are trying to find a balance. You don't want any stress that you're so chill in life that nothing is happening and nothing's impacting you. Right? साधु नहीं बनना अभी. अभी तो हम पढ़ाई कर रहे हैं. And you don't want to be so stressed out कि कुछ भी हो जाए और ये ऊपर चला गया. Right? So now the last question I have for you is, what is the one thing, just the one thing you can do in your day कि आपका नंबर बस एक कम हो? Just one. So if you're on a 7, let's kick it down to a 6. If you're on an 8, let's kick it down to a 7. Tanveer's already got it, so 3 to a 2, right? So what is that one thing you can do? So I'll give a very personal example, and please put in the chat box as I'm talking. तो मेरे को आजकल 7.3 मेरा लेवल है स्ट्रेस का. एंड मेरा 7.3 लेवल क्यों है? Because in my school we are having some interventions. I'm trying an intervention for the first time, and I'm scared that it won't work out the way I think it will. तो मेरे को उसका बहुत स्ट्रेस हो रहा है. And you know, the kids are just like you guys only. I'm just gonna make sure that they are feeling better about themselves. तो मेरे को ये डर लगता है कि शायद बिल्कुल ही नहीं होगा. तो मैं अगर अपने आप को यही सवाल पूछूं कि यार ठीक है मैं 7.3 पे हूँ, where would I like to be in 2 days? Very honestly, I would like to be on a 7. I'm happy just moving up 0.3 right now. And the way I think that I can achieve that 7 is every day in the morning when I get up, right? Tell myself that I'm going to give it my best today. जो होता है नहीं होता वो मेरे हाथ में नहीं है. But I can definitely try. So your strategies can be very small and simple. They don't need to be complex, and they don't need to be very big, and they don't need to be very fancy. What you want to do to lower your stress can be as simple as maybe just getting up 5 minutes early. It can be as simple as reading a book for 10 minutes, if that helps you. There's no limit on what you can do. So your creativity is your friend here. So I'll ask you again, what is one little thing that you can do? So Tanveer said observe nature. Yeah, and you know, Tanveer, I will agree with you, yeah, because even when I'm stressed, going to nature, seeing it, it's a very, I don't know how to describe it, but it's a very human experience. It's something that
Yes.
really can calm you. It doesn't matter how you're feeling, can really calm you. Uh, just to be honest, guys, just saying this, I'm someone who, in my school, when I would get stressed, I would go and climb trees because that's how I would deal with stress. Is there anything weird stuff like that you guys do to deal with your stress?
I think I go to chocolate or cheesy food when I'm
That's also
stressed.
that's not a bad option.
Yeah, probably unhealthy, but
Still, it's an option that we're using at the moment. Painting is another very good idea. Yes, guys. So, the beauty about painting and art is that you can be horrible at it and it still works. You
Yeah.
don't have to like make something that looks great. I tried this with a friend yesterday. He was like, I'm feeling stressed out. I was like, okay, let us try to do painting. He made a stick figure. And guys, you will not believe, जो वो आदमी का वो पूरा वो चेस्ट पार्ट होता है ना, वो भी स्टिक लाइक जेड टाइप बन गई थी. सीधा भी लाइन नहीं बना. But he did it, he had fun. And that's what these little exercises are about, right? It's not
Yes.
about doing it the right way, right? If you love music, go and sing as much as you want, right? There are no rules on all of this, right? It doesn't matter if you're good, bad. अगर आपको dancing बहुत अच्छा लगता है, गाने लगाओ and have a blast, have a dance party at home, right?
Yeah. I
Meditation
think
is nice.
songs,
Yeah,
meditation for sure. Yeah.
like for me, it's physical activity.
Scribbling. Shreya was also mentioned scribbling, which is quite a unique and nice
It's
release.
actually, it's not very unique. I'll be very honest. This is the
Hmm?
most common strategy all of us have done in school. How many of us have
Oh,
a notebook in the last page? We don't know what to do. We're just making something random, right? I've done that. Have you done that?
I have, but I didn't know that it's something we do out of stress. I used to just keep doing it.
Right. And what's funny about scribbling, I'll tell you this little secret. It is a natural grounding activity. So what you're doing is when we say the word grounding, right? We are basically trying to put our stress away. जैसे electricity ground में चला जाता है, we also want to ground our stress. Now these scribbling, because what happens is, how many of us have often made this pattern? एक circle बनाया, उसके ऊपर एक circle बनाया, फिर एक और circle बनाया. Kind of make a beautiful little geometrical flower, right? Now what's beautiful is because those patterns are the same pattern, our brain can just think about the pattern and be like, चलो मैं stress को 5 मिनट के बाद सोचूंगा. So it's a very helpful thing actually. It's a very powerful thing, right? Don't let your teachers say that just because you're scribbling, you're not paying attention. That's not true. I was someone who used to pay attention only when I would allow to be scribbled. So it's like that, right? There are no rules, there's no nothing in that. Okay. So now, right, I'll ask you guys something. So the next part of our slide is going to be learning. Can we have the next slide, please? Right. We're going to try to learn the strategies to tame our stress dragon. And there are three situations that I'll do, right? एक है 2 दिन पहले एग्जाम के, right? Someone's ever had that goosebump कि यार एग्जाम 2 दिन में है, पता नहीं कि पढ़ा है नहीं पढ़ा है, याद नहीं आ रहा, कभी बुक देखता हूँ तो मैं भूल रहा हूँ या भूल रही हूँ, right? So one is before the exam, one is during the exam. कि आप एग्जाम आपके सामने आया, आपने पेपर पढ़ा और आपने वहीं पे पेपर नीचे रखा और अपने दिमाग में सोचा ये नहीं होने वाला है आज. Has anyone experienced that here? I have, very honestly. Okay, Radhika, you've also experienced it, right? So you know what I'm talking about. That sense of paralysis that happens in the exam. And lastly, on the day of the exam, right? Uh, Let me
We
just
have a
recall that.
little bit of debate going on.
And we don't mind my words, but stress toppers को भी होता है. Oh, of course. In fact, अगर आप टॉपर हो तो आपको ज्यादा स्ट्रेस होता है. Very honestly. कुछ यही नहीं आपको अच्छे मार्क्स लाने हैं, आपको कंसिस्टेंटली अच्छे मार्क्स लाने हैं. तो it can be very stressful. It can be very डरावना. It can be very scary.
I
I
think
do.
Tanveer
That's
here is
teacher.
just good at dealing with his stress. Yes, Hashvi?
That's great. That's a really
लाइक
good thing.
टॉपर्स को भी स्ट्रेस होता है बिकॉज टीचर फिर उनसे होप लगा के बैठती है कि ये भी लाइक मार्क्स लेके आएगी एंड ऑल, तो स्ट्रेस टॉपर को भी होता है सो
हाँ, बिल्कुल सही कह रहे
या
हो. आप बिल्कुल, आप यू आर 100% करेक्ट. इनफैक्ट टॉपर्स के लिए तो डबल प्रॉब्लम ये हो जाते हैं, एक तो टीचर एक्सपेक्ट कर रहा है कि अच्छे मार्क्स आएंगे, अच्छे मार्क्स हर बार आएंगे, एंड पीछे मम्मा पापा भी कह रहे हैं कि बेटा आप 90 ले आओ, 95 ले आओ, 99 ले आओ। तो बच्चा तो इसमें बहुत ही ज्यादा एग्जॉस्ट होगा ना। और हम तो 85 वाले बच्चे थे, हमको तो यही दोस्तों को देख देख के पता लग रहा था जो वहां पे है एज अ टॉपर। इफ एनी वन ऑफ यू गाइज आर, फर्स्ट kudos and amazing that you guys are able to do that. And second, yeah, it can be far more stressful. कभी स्पोर्ट्स में देखना, जो बंदा फर्स्ट पोजीशन आता है ना और जो बंदा लास्ट पोजीशन आता है, दोनों बहुत खुश होते हैं। जो सिल्वर लेता है ना वो खुश बिल्कुल नहीं होता। ना उसको एक मेडल मिला, एक जस्ट ही उसने अचीव कर लिया, और ना वो टॉप किया, बीच में रह गया ना वो वहां पे। तो इन द सेम वे हमको अपने साथ वो सिल्वर मेडल का गेम नहीं खेलना है। तो चलो अब हम थोड़ा आगे सीखते हैं कि व्हाट वी कैन डू। कैन वी हैव द नेक्स्ट स्लाइड प्लीज? Can you please have the next slide? Sorry guys, I think my team is facing a little bit of a technical issue. It's okay. I'll still tell you the first thing that we're going to talk about. So the first thing that I want to talk to you guys about is this idea of when we are giving the exams, right? So let's say before the exams, because let's take the first example. What do we need to do to deal with our stress properly? How do we keep that exam dragon in check? Next slide, please. Okay. The first thing we need to do is acknowledge the dragon. Okay. Let's all be honest here, right? No lying, no saying I haven't done this. How many people have felt stress can just been like, मेरे को stress feel ही नहीं होता है. Just me? Nobody else here was ever like, stress है ही क्या? Okay, Shreya, you have felt that. Good to know. Radhika, you also felt that, right? कि stress होता है क्या है? I don't feel stressed. I'll deal. हो जाएगा. Right? That weird sense of confidence which doesn't feel real but weirdly also feels real. Right? Ever happened to you, Roshma? Romsha?
No. I think I'm like naturally anxious, so no anxious feeling goes, unnoticed for
Acha,
me.
okay. So, guys, the first thing that we have to do in any situation, it doesn't matter what the situation is पहले आपको अपने आप को तो एक्सेप्ट करना पड़ेगा ना कि स्ट्रेस हो रहा है। अगर मान लो आपने नहीं पढ़ाई की, अगर मान लो आपने नहीं पढ़ाई किया बिल्कुल, तब तो स्ट्रेस होगा और एक्सेप्ट करना पड़ेगा कि कैसे हैंडल करूं मैं स्ट्रेस को। So the best way to first handle that stress is the mantra of eat, move and sleep. Eat, move and sleep is a very simple approach which says get enough sleep, eat nutritious meals and exercise regularly. Why do you do these three things? Because this boosts memory, it boosts cognitive functions, it boosts creativity. All the things that are very important in doing any sort of a paper. The next one is a consistent routine. Guys, and I'm going to be very honest with you, I have been this person who hasn't had a consistent routine exams में कि मैं रात के 12 बजे ही पढ़ लूंगा, मैं नाइट आल हूँ, मैं पूरा कर लेता हूँ। कर तो लेता हूँ, बट एग्जाम के टाइम पे फिर वो थकान भी आती है। And when you yourself don't know what time you're going to be sleeping on a daily basis, it leaves you with a general sense of exhaustion even after you sleep. अब मान लो आप कुछ टाइम सुबह के 3 बजे सो रहे हो, कुछ दिन आप 5 बजे सो रहे हो सुबह के. So even if the next time you get an 8 hour sleep, you'll still feel exhausted and tired. तो आप एक consistent sleep pattern रखिए अपने लिए. Okay, next is guys simple but specific goals. अगर आपको पढ़ना है, प्लीज डू नॉट टेल योर सेल्फ कि आज मैं तो 2-3 चैप्टर ऐसे ही खत्म कर दूंगा. नहीं. द प्रॉब्लम इज कि हम ह्यूमंस है ना, हमें लगता है कि यार हो जाएगा. हम रियलिटी पे इतना हम ध्यान दे नहीं पाते हैं. सो व्हाट इज इंपॉर्टेंट इज दैट अगर आप एक गोल सेट कर रहे हो कि चलो मेरे को आज एक चैप्टर करना है, पहले आप गोल सेट करिए कि मेरे को आधा चैप्टर करना है. आधा चैप्टर में क्या क्या करना है. जब तक वो क्लैरिटी आपके हाथ में आपके पास नहीं होगी, आपको हमेशा एक सेंस ऑफ कंफ्यूजन होगा. आपको हमेशा लगेगा कि अगर कर भी लिया तो बहुत कम किया है. कभी वो फीलिंग आई है गाइस कि जो अपना टारगेट था वो तो अचीव कर लिया, बट ऐसा लग रहा है कि बहुत कि कुछ ही अचीव नहीं किया आज, है ना. सो टू डील विद दिस, स्पेसिफिक पर सिंपल गोल बनाइए. एंड लास्टली गाइस, इफेक्टिव टाइम मैनेजमेंट होता है. अगर आपके पास एक इफेक्टिव, आपको नहीं पता आपका टाइम कहाँ जा रहा है, तो यू विल नॉट फील एट द टॉप ऑफ थिंग्स फॉर योर एग्जाम. आप एग्जाम डे में भी फील करोगे कि आपको नहीं पता क्या हो रहा है. विच दिस फीलिंग ऑफ नहीं पता इज नॉट अ गुड फीलिंग टू हैव गाइज. एंड ये मैं ये नहीं कह रहा हूँ बिकॉज यू गाइज आर ग्रोइंग अप, इट इज समथिंग फॉर लाइफ. आप कहीं पे भी जाओगे, आप कुछ भी कर रहे हो, knowing what you're doing, how much time you're spending, how much time you have for yourself, these are very important life skills, guys. ये आप लाइफ में अवॉइड ही नहीं कर पाते हो. So it's better that we learn it for our exams and implement it properly. Can we have the next video? I mean, next slide. Okay. नाउ लेट्स कम टू द सेकेंड पार्ट. एक तो चलो आपको मैंने कुछ ये आइडियाज बता दिए ऑफ हाउ टू डील विद स्ट्रेस 2 days बिफोर द एग्जाम. बट हाउ मेनी पीपल हैव लाइक अ वीक ऑफ एग्जाम्स की 2 हफ्ते एग्जाम है, फिर छुट्टी है, फिर एग्जाम है, फिर 2 दिन की छुट्टी है. हाउ मेनी पीपल हैव दैट काइंड ऑफ अ शेड्यूल? I used to have that kind of a schedule. So, like it used to be exam week only. Do you guys have exam week or do you do one exam and then a 7 days off? कैसे होता है आपका?
Like on alternate days.
Okay, so like on alternate days. So if let's say your exam is for a week, right? एक हफ्ता का पूरा मतलब एग्जाम है, 3 दिन एग्जाम है उसमें. It's also important to know how to deal with the stress during that entire process of the exam. Because guys, देखिए आपको अलग अलग टाइप ऑफ स्ट्रेस मिलेंगे. When you are 2 days before the exam, you might have a mild level of stress. When you're giving the exam, you might have an extremely high level of stress for a very short amount of time. And when the entire process is going on, you may have a sustained level of general stress and anxiety. So it's very important again to look at these tips and implement it. तो जैसे eat, move or sleep, एक स्टडी शेड्यूल आपको बनाना चाहिए. कोई आपको नहीं बताएगा कि क्यों पढ़ना है और कब पढ़ना है. यू नीड टू डिफाइन कि आप कैसे पढ़ोगे, कितने बजे से कितने बजे पढ़ोगे और कब आप ब्रेक लोगे. These are things that you need to do for yourself, guys. Because these are skills
वही
that. हाँ बोलिए.
वही टाइम मैनेजमेंट करना ही तो नहीं आ रहा.
चलो, I'll give you a very simple trick for time management, okay? A very simple trick. So what happens with time management is we have this loss of time, very honestly. That's the problem with us humans. आज अगर हमें सेशन में मजा आ रहा है तो पता ही नहीं चल रहा टाइम कैसे कट रहा है, राइट? कुछ नहीं करना है तो टाइम बिल्कुल स्लो डाउन हो रहा है. सो व्हाट एक्चुअली वी नीड आर some things that are consistent. So Harshvi, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, why not?
What are the things that are non-negotiable in your day कि आपको करने ही हैं? So that can be things like सुबह उठ के नहाना है, या सुबह उठ के ब्रश करना है, ये सब things that you have to do on a daily basis. आपका
इन
शायद
चीजों को करे बिना योर डे विल नॉट बी कंप्लीट. ऐसी कौन सी चीजें होती हैं जो आप सोच के या बिना सोचे एवरीडे करते हो? Think about it. Yeah.
Obviously, the priority is our studies. That हमें करनी ही करनी है. हम अगर हमने skip कर दिया तो फिर हमें loss हो जाएगा.
बट वो तो आज की प्रायोरिटी है ना, मैं वो नहीं पूछ रहा हूँ. मैं आपसे पूछ रहा हूँ कि आप डेली क्या करते हो, बिकॉज आई एम ट्राइंग टू आंसर दैट क्वेश्चन यू हैड आस्क्ड मी कि टाइम मैनेजमेंट करूँ कैसे. सो व्हाट आर सम थिंग्स यू हैव टू डू एवरी डे?
Describe a day in your life, an ordinary day, a day
Yeah.
not before or after exam week, a normal day. What does a normal day in Hashvi's life looks like?
Give me a second. I'm coming back.
Sure.
Sure.
Anyone else wants to try this question?
Radhika?
Just a second. Like a ordinary day in my life is first morning में school, then when we came
Prachi,
home back,
Shreya?
then
Yeah, please go for it. बोलिए.
Go, Hashvi.
school, coachings, then self studies. Obviously फिर हमें खाना भी खाना होता है उस बीच में.
So this is how you should do it, very honestly. पहले खाना तो लाइफ में खाना पड़ता है ना, रोज एग्जाम हो ना हो. सो लेट्स फिक्स द फर्स्ट
Yeah.
टाइम फॉर दैट. मान लो तुमने एक टाइम निकाल लिया पहले खाने के लिए कि यार इस बजे तो
Okay.
खाना खाना है ना. उसके
Hmm.
बाद द नेक्स्ट थिंग दैट कांट बी कॉम्प्रोमाइज, यू पुट दैट ऑन योर टाइम टेबल. ऐसे हम धीरे धीरे छोटी छोटी चीजें पहले डालेंगे ना अपनी टाइम टेबल पे, तो फिर हम बड़ी चीजें उनके बीच में फिट इन कर सकते हैं. अगर आपको लगता है आप 2 घंटे बस ऐसे ही पढ़ लोगे, वो एक्चुअली होता नहीं है. सो दैट कम्स टू माई थर्ड पॉइंट कि जब आप अपना स्केड्यूल बना रहे हो, छोटे स्टडी सेशंस रखो. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, स्टडी फॉर 25 minutes ओनली, then take a 5 minute break, then study for 25 minutes, then take a 5 minute break. And the reason I'm suggesting this is, guys, our brains are very interesting. अगर आप कुछ भी चीज देखो ना, 25 minutes के बाद आप खुद देखोगे आपका दिमाग उस चीज से हटना चाहता है. क्यों? बिकॉज ब्रेन के लिए इंफॉर्मेशन ओवरलोड होने का पॉइंट हो रहा है. फिर वो जब आप उससे 10 मिनट हटेंगे, 5 मिनट पहले हटेंगे, कुछ मतलब गाने सुन लिए, डांस कर लिया, वट एवर यू गाइज फील लाइक, you will then be able to remember that information much better. Does that make sense, guys?
If I can also give some advice from my own personal experiences, when you are studying, try to not have distracting, things around you. मतलब जैसे फोन ऐसे दूसरे कमरे में छोड़ा हो, या फिर लॉक इट इन योर कबर्ड, और आई डोंट नो, anything, even like a book that you're reading that's not school related, don't let that thing be around you. Like, don't let it entice you from afar.
Guys, they
Have
say
a
that the best way or the best self-discipline is not having that item at home only. That's the best self-discipline.
yeah.
So, okay,
So
after that, guys, it's also important that you guys do active learning techniques. Now, what are active learning techniques? It's not just rectification anymore. It is using strategies that help you summarize, right? maybe creating some mind maps. So these are all things that you use to reinforce your own understanding of तुम क्या पढ़ रहे हो. And ये important होता है because application questions and all में यही सब निकल के आता है. जो आप इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज में आप ऐसे लिखोगे, the creativity will come from here only. Lastly, guys, remember, practice papers, especially the past ones, because the more times you write anything in life, you'll remember it. Because as soon as you write, your brain and your hand are connecting on a very biological level. आप ह्यूमन हो, आप एक्चुअली चीजों को शेप में देखते हो, आप इंडिविजुअल चीजें नहीं देखते. अगर मैं ओ बना दूं, एक ओ बना दूं, आप इस चीज को ओ देख रहे हो, आप ये नहीं देख रहे कि अच्छा यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा ओ है, फिर यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा है, फिर यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा है ना. So in the same way, guys, it's very important to have a holistic understanding, right? Because आप पैटर्न्स में ही पढ़ोगे, जितना लिखोगे उतना दिमाग में खुद जाएगा याद. Can we have the next slide? Oh, sorry. Just hold on for a second. Lastly, create a comfortable study environment. इसका मतलब क्या होता है कि ये नहीं कि बेड पे लेट के पढ़ो, बिल्कुल नहीं. That's a bad idea. Create a comfortable study means that you are ensuring that your space is well lit and well organized. अगर आपकी स्पेस ऑर्गेनाइज नहीं है, आपका पढ़ने का बिल्कुल मन नहीं करेगा. How many people here have done this? पढ़ना मेरे को, चलो 5 मिनट में करता हूँ, पहले मैं अपनी जगह पहले ऑर्गेनाइज कर लूँ. गंदा लग रहा है, होएगा नहीं, वाइब नहीं मैच हो रही, राइट? तो these are all things that we need to do during our entire examinations. ये one time strategy नहीं है. Can we go to the next? Right. So guys, now this is the last thing that I want to get you guys to do. अब मान लो आप एग्जाम हॉल में बैठे हुए हो, राइट? और आपको वहीं पे पैनिक होने लग गया कि यार मेरे को तो कुछ भी नहीं आता, मैं क्या करूंगी, मैं कैसे हैंडल करूंगी इसको. एंड योर ब्रेन सो विल टेल यू थिंग्स लाइक तेरा जॉब भी नहीं मिलेगा, फिर तू रोड पे बैठना रोज, है ना. ये सब तो दिमाग आपको बोलता है. सारे दोस्त तेरे बाहर होंगे, तू स्कूल के बाहर बैठे होंगे. लाइक माई ब्रेन वुड टेल मी व्हेन आई एम गिविंग एग्जाम्स कि ब्रो तेरे से पास नहीं हुआ तो तू कबाड़ी वाला बन जाओ, वेरी ऑनेस्टली. Right? And everyone has their own stories. So today I'm going to share a technique with you, right? A very simple technique. Can we go to the next slide? Right.
The 5-4-3-2-1 method is a grounding exercise that can help you stay in the moment and avoid negative thinking and worry. You can do this exercise anywhere, at home, at school, in the car, or even in the middle of a crowd. You can do it sitting, standing, or laying down. Counting down from 5, use your senses to list things around you. Make an effort to notice details about these things. This is how to do it.
So guys, this activity that I'm showing you, it's something that you can use while having a panic attack. And it's very simple. There are no rules for it. आपके 5 नंबर हैं, 5 4 3 2 1. आपके 5 सेंस ऑर्गन्स हैं, साइट, touch, smell, right, hearing, and taste. You pick any one that you like. आपको पहले 5 चीजें देखनी है, आप पहले 5 चीजें देखिए. Maybe you're more of a audio learner. You close your eyes and listen to 5 different sounds. Guys, the idea here is not कि कोई एक approach better है या दूसरा approach better है. It is कि in the moment of panic, जब हमें पैनिक होता है, हमारा प्रायोरिटी होता है कि हमारे ब्रेन को एंगेज करना किसी और चीज में. उस ब्रेन ना भूल जाता है यार, बहुत जल्दी भूल जाता है वो. अगर आप उसको बार बार याद दिलाओगे कि आप नहीं कर सकते ये, तब तो वो भूलेगा नहीं. तो आपको उसको अटेंशन ही डाइवर्ट करना पड़ता है. जैसे आप बच्चे के साथ करते हो, जब बच्चे को लग जाए तो आप उसको बोलोगे कि अपने चोट को देखो या चलो कुछ और देखते हैं सडनली, राइट? You don't want to focus on that. So, okay, can we move to the next slide? So, guys, the question that I have for you is that we've talked so much about dealing with stress. What will it, or what does it now take for you to feel like this frog? क्या आप ये फ्रॉग की तरह फील कर सकते हो? जो आज हमने थोड़ी स्ट्रैटेजी सीखी हैं, जो आज हमने थोड़ी चीज़ें बात की हैं, क्या आपको लगता है कि आप इस फ्रॉग की तरह फील कर पाओगे अगर आप कुछ ये चीज़ें अप्लाई करिए?
Let's like do a little recap of what all we learned. पहले तो हमने सीखा कि कैसे अपने स्ट्रेस को स्केल करना है. You know, everyone gave a number to that stress, and then हमने ये भी एक और नंबर दिया जो हमें अचीव करना है स्ट्रेस लेवल एक्चुअल में, जो अभी हमारा है नहीं, पर हम चाहते हैं कि वो स्ट्रेस लेवल हम अचीव करें. Then we will start with small steps that we can do so that वो एक नंबर नीचे आ जाए stress level. And that could be anything. Like Hashvi said, she struggles with time management. So now Hashvi will try and apply this technique of keeping her space organized, or she will try to be consistent about this. वो अपनी study table को consistently clean रखेगी, organized रखेगी. या फिर even or Radhika will try to study for 25 minutes. In 25 minutes breaks, and then 25 minutes study, 5-minute break, 25 minutes study, 5-minute break. So it doesn't matter कि आप एक चीज बदल रहे हो अपने रूटीन में, दो चीज बदल रहे हो, पूरा रूटीन बदल रहे हो, but you have to give yourself a little bit of motivation to do one small thing consistently over time. So अगर आप stress feel कर रहे हो, बी रियलिस्टिक दैट एक दिन में नहीं जाएगा, एक दिन में टाइम मैनेज नहीं होगा, एक दिन में कुछ भी चीज हासिल नहीं होगी, बट व्हाट वी विल डू इज वी विल कीप ट्राइंग टू मेक चेंजेस, हेल्दी चेंजेस, एंड वी विल try to regulate our emotions to the best of our ability. So I think this is one of the major takeaways we can take.
You're absolutely right, Romsha, and I think I have a slide to present that exact idea. तो जब आपको सोचना है कि मैं इसको कैसे करूं, थिंक ऑफ द मोटो डाई. डाई मोटो है क्या? कैन वी टेक द नेक्स्ट स्लाइड? It stands for daily intentional effort, just as Romsha was saying. So हम बोलते हैं ना मर मर के एग्जाम तो कर ही लेंगे, तो आई थिंक दिस इज द बेस्ट ट्रांसलेशन कि डाई डाई करके अगर हम एग्जाम करेंगे, इट मींस डेली इंटेंशनल एफर्ट हम डालेंगे. कैन वी गो टू द लास्ट स्लाइड? नाउ आई विल ओपन द फ्लोर अप. अगर आपको कुछ भी सवाल पूछना है, प्लीज फील फ्री टू आस्क.
Yes, if you think ऐसी कोई चीज है that we did not address in the session, then you can specifically ask about it right now, or any problem that you are struggling with and have not been able to deal with, you can also ask sir about that. So please feel free, or everyone, not just Hashvi, Radhika, Shreya, Prachi, you guys are also encouraged to ask questions. And if we don't have any questions, then that is also great. It means that we've had a successful session. So anyone, you can write your comments also in the comment box. We are all reading. Don't have to speak necessarily. Yes, Hashvi, do you have any question?
No.
No? Great. Radhika is saying thank you, and she's very sure that these strategies will help her.
I'm happy to help, Radhika.
That's great. I think then it's been a pretty clear session, and I think everyone's gotten to learn a lot of new things. So I think we can wrap up. We're also a little over our time. But anyway, so grateful for all of you for joining in, and I would like to specifically thank Siddharth for taking out the time to do these 2 sessions with us here at Newsahoot. We are very glad to be able to help kids in any minor or major way. And yes, we hope to have you someday back. Let's
I
hope.
love to be back.
And yes, and rest of you, please keep reading Newsahoot and keep doing the quizzes and keep coming on our Hoot hours and keep coming on these sessions, because we want to be able to help you guys in whichever form possible. So thank you again, and I will conclude
I'm
the.
on the I'm on the first rank of the month of September on Newsahoot,
Oh
and there
wow,
are my 5,000 Hoot coins. Like I have,
wow,
and I'm
that's
like
that's very
literally
good.
waiting for that store.
Marketplace, yeah. Yes, yes, you will be in luck. It's going to come very, very soon, I promise you, and you'll be able to use those food coins to do some fun stuff. So yes, yes, thank you everyone again. It was great having this session with everyone, especially Siddharth. And yes, I'll conclude the session now. Thank you.
Thank you.
You all can leave the
Goodbye.
meeting.
Take care.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.